Okay, hello everybody. So as we have people joining, please let us know that you're watching live. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, what city or what company or whatever. But I'm really excited for our special guest today. We have Jeff Schuetz from City Rent a Truck here in Kansas City, Missouri. And I've been working with their team for a few years now, a couple or 3 years. And I'm just so excited to have you to be able to share like your style of your leadership and your management and how you manage your company and all of your staff, because it's a really unique style. And it's something that like I admire a lot because many leaders don't have such a style where they like to get their hands dirty. And as that is our title of today's session, is getting your hands dirty as a leader. Because what I've noticed is like, you're just not a leader who commands things from the top and expects people to figure things out alone. I feel like you really like communicate with everybody and have an open door policy, Jeff. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about City Rent a Truck and how you got involved in that company. Because I know you bought it, was it 16 years ago?
Yeah, so I got involved 16 years ago, took over the operations. And, at that time when we were as small as we were, one location, 3 employees, we were probably just under 100 units, 100 trucks. And, you say getting your hands dirty. And at that point, for sure, it was a literal get your hands dirty because you had to do everything. My background has always been either owning or operating a small business and sometimes family business. I was raised in a small family business. I feel like my dad ingrained a good work ethic in me and my other 2 brothers. So that helps a lot. You in my house as a kid growing up, you weren't watching cartoons on Saturday morning. We were our dad's weed eater. So
Yeah.
we were doing something. So that it was hard. And we complained at the time, I'm sure. But man, it's just it instilled really some strong values for us. So getting back to City Rent a Truck in the beginning, it was a challenge. I like a challenge. My goal was to scale the business, and getting your hands dirty literally is something you just had to do. And we just started building our team and growing market share and listening to the customer and what they wanted. And slowly we grew and added people, and still in the process, I think it's good as a leader that everybody sees you doing everything and getting your hands dirty. Obviously, as you scale, you can't always do that. You have to evolve. Your role changes as you bring on, as your team grows, as your company grows, because you're needed in other areas of the business. Your focus needs to be, in order for the business to continue to grow, it's best for the business that leader takes on some different roles. But while you're doing that, you're like you said, you make sure that you're communicating with your team, that they understand the why, that we're all on the same page, and that you care. I always feel like that obviously the people are our most valuable asset, and it's that way for most companies. And actually, you want to, and we have core values, about our core values. We feel very strong about them, and we have them prioritized in order. Customer first is the top, and teamwork's the second. So, I like to treat my team as a customer, so that valuable asset, we need to take care of that asset and treat them like a customer. And we have a passion that we do with our purpose and mission, and that's make the customer experience memorable by building relationships and showing genuine gratitude. And that genuine gratitude is important. It can't be shallow, fake. It's got to be real, genuine gratitude. So your team's got to see, and they have to know that you really care about them. So you get your hands dirty, but it gets to a point where that's not as literal as actually getting your hands dirty. I still do. I will whenever needed. But getting your hands dirty is getting involved with your different projects, your different departments, and just checking in and making sure that that someone's driving the bus and that the bus is going in the right direction, and we all know the map and where we're going. So, so that's kind of how my hands are getting dirty at this time of our business. When you grow, you have to mentor other leaders, because they're gonna have to walk in your shoes and kind of do what you were doing before. And what's fun for me is bringing this young talent on. They're so smart. These, the generations that followed, the couple generations that have followed my generation, they're smart. They're a lot smarter than we are. And I've learned from them. But there's still some leadership wisdom, some leadership experience that we can share with them. And if they're going to walk in my shoes, and you have to kind of you have to get out of the way, let them make mistakes, but give them a department, or give them something they're accountable for. It could be some line items on the income statement. It could be a certain segment the customer base a certain way. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but have them take ownership, and then just guide them, help them, when they make mistakes, motivate them, coach them. I feel like we're coaches, and there's different leadership styles. I feel like my leadership style is a coaching leadership style. And that's not me coming up with that. I've had other people tell me that. So, anyway, back to getting the hands dirty. It was literal in the beginning, not as literal now, but you're still getting your hands dirty because you're involved, you care, you're communicating.
Yes. I think that's awesome. And as we're working on the best places to work survey improvements so that we can get you guys on that list next year, one of the things that really stood out, and I know that Schaefer, who gave you a maybe backhanded compliment, your son, as he was presenting on it to like the video to your team, he said that the word fun is the word that came up the most in the comments about City Rent a Truck. And that's what he was really proud of. He and I have a similar personality, being mavericks on the predictive index. So we have, very low formality, very high extroversion, high dominance, things like that. And so it's important to people like us, and probably you too, and a lot of people, to have a fun environment, a fun work culture. And I think that maybe like when people think of a truck rental company, they might not realize that the culture can be so awesome. The culture can be so young and energetic, and you offer so many things to build your people up, like opportunities on this Culture Champions Committee that we're starting to make the best places to work survey points like improved upon and things like that. All the leadership training that you offer that I get to help with. It's really, really cool to watch. And I love when you get to sit in on those training meetings and you participate. And Schaefer sat in yesterday, actually, during the afternoon session and participated. And I think that means a lot to people. We had, some new staff in there and people who have also been there for quite a while. And it's really interesting to watch them light up when you guys talk, like people as executives, being in the room with them. And also kind of saying something as an endorsement at the beginning. It's really, really cool. Like, you don't just hand it off and expect people to just like figure out why you're there. But like yesterday, you started the meeting out by saying, okay, everybody, why do you think we do this? Why do you think we're here? And that really did start the session, I think, with a really good mindset in everybody's head. And it was really cool to see that. And I also see that Robbie's watching from Atlanta.
When those come up, I can see Schaefer's headshot. Does our audience see Schaefer's headshot? Oh, he wanted to keep that up there so he can show that he's better looking than I am. Is that why he did that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's so silly.
The fun thing, it's why not? Yeah, I mean, it should be fun. I mean, you're working with your team that, you mentioned predictive index. It's an assessment that we do. It's a really quick multiple choice, takes 10 minutes, no right or wrong, no good or bad. It basically says how you're going to show up to work and what kind of teammate you're going to be, and the areas that you're going to excel and be comfortable in, and then the areas and situations that you won't be comfortable in. And everybody knows everybody's assessment. And so you already know who you're working with and where they're going to help you and where they're not. And that helps that the expectations are there. You know that they're going to have your back. You're going to have their back. And, you know, you can have fun at anything you do, you know, at work. And so with our culture and with our team and the way we recruit, we seem to bring in a good group of people that do have fun together. You know, we've got a Christmas event coming up this weekend. We're starting to have more and more of these, and we have a couple of them every year, and all of them are just a little bit different. And we all get together, they bring family, and they've become a big deal. And the Christmas one that we're having on Saturday, everybody's talking about it. They're looking forward to it. And what's fun is as the company has grown, these events are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just trying to be creative and do fun things. And it's fun for me to sit back and just watch everybody at these events, just have a good time and get along. And it's heartwarming for me. I really enjoy that. So yeah. The fun is important. And it's part of the culture. So.
Yes, I love that. It's very exciting. What are some other ways that you, like you mentioned and I saw that Jake also said hi. So we have a lot of your team saying hi on here. Best boss ever, he said.
Thanks,
very
Jake.
nice. And he's leading our Culture Champions team. So he and Schaefer. And so for people watching, you know, they're participating.
I will mention on that Culture Champion, Haley is consulting with us on that, and we're just getting started, but I'm very impressed with how she's getting this organized and getting it started. And there's a lot of things we've been wanting to implement. You know, I always feel like we can always get better. You get the compliments, and that's great. And it feels good. It's confirms that what you've been doing the right things, but we kind of look at, what can we do better? Yeah. I know there's a lot there that we can do better. And so listening to our team, we looked at the things that we need to work on, and just organizing this Culture Champion committee. I'm excited for it. We're going to get some stuff done and talk about getting your hands dirty. This committee is going to get their hands dirty, and they're going to implement some things, make some changes. You know, we picked a group of people internally that I think is going to do a really good job. But there's different things within this organizing this, Haley, that you've helped us with that they're going to help our company and our business, our customer relations, our vendor relations, and you know, it'll affect the bottom line. I mean, obviously, we can't do any of this stuff if we don't have a positive number at the bottom. You know, we got to continue to grow, and you can't do it by yourself. You have to have a solid team to do it. You have to have people that want to come to work at your company. And so this culture committee that we're doing, and yeah, you know, yeah, if there's a survey and an outside source says, man, you're one of the best places to work in Kansas City, you know, and that's great if we get that. But you know, it's the process that's going to be the most valuable for us. You know, is the journey, and the process of doing this is going to be the best part of it.
I love that. That's awesome. Here is, and thank you for those compliments. That was very kind of you. I love working with you guys. Jake asked a great question. He says, Jeff, what motivates you to grow a business? Because I know that you don't want to stay stagnant and just accept the status quo. Like, you guys have a huge revenue growth number. You are adding, is it like 2 or 3 locations per year right now? So this year you've added Houston and Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to just keep seeing you guys grow and helping you along the way. So what is your motivation and your inspiration for growing this business?
There's a couple, and it's a great question, Jake. Thank you. One that comes to mind is man, I'm competitive. You know, I'm driven. You know that from my predictive index.
Yep. You're a captain.
I'm driven, and I like to win. Like to succeed, to, you know, that some people like to build stuff, you know, and I like to build a company. I like
Yeah.
to build a business because that's what I feel like that we're doing here is we're building and growing. And so I'm competitive, and that's one. The other is I mentioned the young, smart talent that we're bringing on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they come on as a management trainee. It's entry level, and then also some of our shop technicians and our wash bay porters. They come in entry level. So watching them grow their careers, a lot of them come in out of college. They're single. They're living out of an apartment, and then watching them get engaged, get married, buy a house, have a kid. I'm not saying everybody has to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, who asked this question, he's still single, but someday, I don't know. But
God, you're roasting him now.
so and then watching them take on, so you come in and you're a rental rep, and you're making reservations and dealing with customer service, you're learning our business, and we find different talents. And when you're small,
Mm-hmm.
you have to wear a lot of different hats. And so Jake, for example, was a rental rep. Now he's a branch manager, and we saw that he was good with marketing and content and graphics and video and all of that. So he was wearing another hat. He's got a lot of responsibility. He's helping you with the culture champion.
That's right.
We've got people that were good on the service side, and we've got people that were good with claims processing, for example. And so they wear our hat as a rental rep, then a branch manager, and then they were branch manager and claims. And then now as we grow, we're able to take some hats off and create a new position. And now several people are becoming a fleet service coordinator. That's a full position now. Claims management, that's a whole different position now. It was a shared position. Jake eventually will be our director of marketing, and he won't have that branch manager hat anymore as we grow. I just think that makes the most sense. I think we're a better steward financially of our funds if we do it that way and grow at the right pace instead of filling all these holes and people not having enough to do. But so that motivates me to grow the business. And to answer Jake's question, I have to grow it because I want to see these people advance their careers. And then you got to keep a fresh stream too, bringing in new talent to fill their shoes, because my young talent from a few years ago have now moved up in the company. And so we start all over and train another group of talent. So that is another thing that motivates me, Jake, to grow the business and that's the people part of it. So.
Yes, I love that. I think it's really cool that you are building this company that I think a lot of those young people will stay at even after you retire, if you ever do, and they're going to have like an established, really great foundation of City Rent-A-Truck where they're able to keep it growing and then maybe, keep it going across the country and things like that, which I think is amazing. And if people have more questions, please do ask us in the comments, because I know Jeff would love to answer specific questions. I love that a bunch of your team is actually watching live, so this is great. And I want to talk more about your core values of City Rent-A-Truck. So yeah, you're a truck rental company. Like I've rented, when I moved, I got to use a big box truck for all of my stuff. You guys were awesome. And that was a wonderful process, really great communication, thanks to Schaefer and Andrew and things like that. And then, you can rent companies rent trucks and things like that. But your core values are so much deeper than just like rent good trucks to customers and make money. So let's talk about those 5 things. And, how did you decide on, if you could share the 5, how did you decide on those 5? And talk about how do you implement them?
Well, when in our recruiting process, we mention our core values and we tell people how that they're ingrained as us. That's who we are. It's how we make our decisions, whether it's with a vendor, recruiting somebody, letting somebody go and deciding they're not a good fit and don't fit our culture. Everything we do is based on these 5 core values. And so if we're dealing with a problem and we're trying to problem solve a solution, which is one of our core values, problem solvers, we will look at our core values and say, let's run that through a filter and let's run it through our core values and see if it passes the test. and before we make the decision, and we're able to decide real quick if it passes or not. So customer first is at the top. Basically, everything we do revolves around the customers. Why we come to work. That's who we work for. They pay our paycheck, and trying to ingrain that in everybody's brain is important. And you've heard about the chief reminding officer. We have to continually remind our team about that first core value. That was ingrained with me. Like I was mentioning, my dad, he was very customer service oriented, and that's just how I've always been. I get real frustrated when I go to an establishment that they don't get that. And you can tell it's not ingrained in their organization. And it's frustrating for me when I see it, because to me, it's so easy to be competitive as a business through just customer service. Just showing them that you appreciate their business and you care is all you got to do, and be nice and friendly by doing that while you're doing it, just friendly. And that's all you got to do. And so many businesses don't do that. And that's real frustrating for me. So customer first, teamwork's the next one. And that's what this is all about. Like I just said earlier, is, I can't do it by myself. Well, there. So
I tried to zoom in. I found it online real quick.
Yeah. So I can't do it all by myself. And you need it. It takes a team, and we mentioned synergy, that, we combine all of our individual efforts, and it's going to be a lot stronger than if you just looked at our efforts individually and added them up. So synergy is very important. Teamwork is very important. The customers can see that you're a team just based on how we interact and how we deal with them. Problem solvers that I mentioned, we need to be resourceful. I think that is an art or a discipline that you need to practice. Every new team member we read a book. They read a book called Obstacles Away. We hand it to them first day, by Ryan Holiday, Obstacles Away. And we have book clubs, and we have meetings, and we talk about the different parts in that book. So we have to be creative. And Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, the impediment to action advances action, I believe. So, what the obstacle in the path becomes the path. And so that's how we look at when there's a problem, and customers love it when they see that there's an effort there to come up with a solution, instead of being an order taker and just saying, can't do it, don't have it available, sorry. The fourth one is forward, always moving forward. If you're not, it's boring. You got to keep up with the times. I've seen so much change in the years I've been in business, 38 years, and the last 16 years in this business. So always got to be moving forward and advancing, and then leave it all on the field. That's the competitive side of me, and I like sports. So compete to win, don't give up until there's absolutely nothing left. So that's also, the customer sees that. Also, we see it internally. And what we do is, when there's a real life situation where we had a win or solved a problem, or, if it's involved in the day-to-day work, we will reference the core values. I know James, our director of operations, he'll do it many times when we had a big obstacle, and there's a story behind how we overcame that obstacle. And, he'll send a mass communication out, and he'll explain, the customer was first. And as a team, we problem solved and figured this out. We left it all on the field, and after it's done, then let's keep moving forward. So those are all the core values all brought together. And you mentioned the thought process in developing these. When I did this years ago, there was a lot of time spent on this, because you can come up with a lot of fluff that sounds good.
Yep.
You have to feel next level that these are deep. And so once we did this is when they get engraved, etched in stone. So
I love that. Yeah, and I see. So Jason has a great question. I want to end on that one, so we'll come back to it. Michael Shaneyfelt has this question. He says, Jeff, what's your favorite out of the 5 core values? And maybe it's hard to pick a favorite, but maybe today, what's your favorite?
That is a tough one. Like I said, I put them in order of priority. However, the problem solver I like, because I like it when a problem is brought to me. I enjoy it because it's a challenge. I'm not going to say it's a game. It's because it's not. It's serious, but there's always a solution. And I think that when you teach that or mentor your young staff that there's always a solution, they're kind of like surprised by it. Like, really, that's a good attitude, and attitude does make a difference. Attitude is important. I know there's certain HR compliance that says, yeah, you can't reprimand an employee because of attitude. Well, I don't agree with that. You got to have a good attitude. So.
Oh, well, I don't know about reprimand, but address is
address. There you go. You always keep me saying the right thing, Haley. I like that.
Well, semantics matter sometimes. I don't know. That's great. I love it. I think that's a really important one too. And I think that I think everybody loves somebody who brings solutions to them rather than just problems all the time. Right. So that's
exactly. I love that, Haley, because we that's in business, you deal with that all the time, and that's what you're trying to do, is get them to what do you think we should do? The problem's brought to you. Well, what have you how have you addressed it? What do you think we should do? You got some ideas? Let's think this through.
Absolutely. And then ending that, I love that Jason says his favorite must be leave it all on the field. And Justin's pretty new, right?
Justin likes sports. Yep. He's a sports fanatic. So,
well, I think everybody at City Rent a Truck is.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I
was like, did you all play football together? Goodness. I love it. Well, so then let's end on this last question from Jason. Love it. He's the one in St. Louis, correct? He's a really funny guy. And he says, what's the most valuable learning experience you've had as a leader in your career?
So, Jason, good question. To come up with an actual thing that has happened. Being in business for as many years as I have, I've got a lot of stories that where things didn't look pretty bleak, and things didn't come out the way they were supposed to, and you failed at different things. But I would say the never giving up, I think, is the most valuable learning experience for me. But there's just a culmination of a lot of different things that have happened. But it's supposed to make you stronger, So it's what is the saying, Haley? Help me out here. Steel sharpening iron, or I don't know the saying, but
like from the Bible, the iron one. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. That no.
Yeah, maybe, but my point is that people like to be comfortable, but I think we're better when we're out of our comfort zone. I haven't done really a lot of interviews like what I'm doing right now, so it is a little out of my comfort zone. I do like talking about the business and all of that kind of stuff, but being on a live deal like this is out of my comfort zone. But maybe it'll make me better at doing this. But I think we make ourselves better getting out of our comfort zone and not to get too comfortable. I know that might sound weird to some people, because it's like, isn't that what we strive to do, is to be real comfortable? Again, it's something else I don't really go by or agree with. But I think the never giving up, Jason, would be very valuable over your lifetime and over your career.
Yes, I love that. That's great.
There you go. That's a good quote. Yep.
Yeah. He quoted Kelly Clarkson. I love it. Thank you, Schaefer, for that. And she is a strong woman. So like Jeff, two strong people, Kelly and Jeff.
Is that a song?
Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you
Oh,
stronger.
no.
We'll play it next time, maybe next time I'm there.
It'll be our theme song.
Yeah, that could be our theme song. I love it. It's so fun. See, you guys are a fun group. I love it. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I know that this was, out of your comfort zone, but as one of my top values is courage. And, so it's important to, I think, experience peace, but maybe not comfort all the time. Like we want to do things that are not the comfortable thing, but the challenging, courageous thing that has a better return on investment and better impact in the world. So I think you do that, which is very fun to watch. So thank you so much, Jeff. If people want to work with City Rent-A-Truck, or if they are interested in a career there, how can they reach out to you guys?
So on our website, we've got all kinds of contacts, access to our company and our team. So just go to cityrentatruck.com.
Awesome. And so we have 3 locations here in Kansas City. We have Olathe near the plaza and up by the airport. And then there's Houston, Atlanta, St. Louis. Am I forgetting anywhere?
That's it for now.
For now, we'll see as it explodes across, coast to coast.
Right.
Very exciting. Go to cityrentatruck.com. And then if they want to connect with you, Jeff, where's the best place on social media?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook.
Okay, great. So we'll have you comment on the videos on Facebook and LinkedIn so they can maybe see your account and click it if you don't mind. And you can share this video and things like that. But yeah, it looks like, Kayla, your daughter even says concert and interview. Excellent. So yeah, you never know what you're going to get when you hop on a live with Haley Graylis. Your son is proud of you. And Jake says comfortable being uncomfortable. Yes. If you take anything from today, maybe that's one of the main takeaways is do what's courageous. And yeah, it's been awesome, Jeff. Thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody else. And we'll end it here. Thank you.
It was fun. Thanks, Haley.